Okay. Hey, sorry I'm late today. It's 10:15, so the market's open. I had some other business that I needed to handle this morning. So, all right. So up on the screen here, we've got we got a lot of volatility. I got part of that big dump last night, which we knew was coming. This morning, I did get. I was in here this morning, pre-market before I had to leave. I got in at 71.33 and I set I got 10 points. I was going to be gone, so I just set it. So I got 10 points early out of the market here. And since I was gone, I literally just got back into the office here. And two things based on this, and this is where you have the 5 minute and the 1 minute, guys. This is where you get a choppy market with uncertainty like this. If you're not in, I just say wait, because this run up was okay. This retraced. Well, let's go back to the Asia last night. So Asia dumped. Friday we closed at 71.65, and then it ripped down to 70.84. I thought it was going to go deeper than that. So I clicked the button and I got about 20 points last night. I got in and got short. Then I got in short again somewhere in this range. It's 70.10. Yeah, 7110. And then I moved my stops to break even. Then it came up and took me out. So a couple, I don't, when I say break even, I cover the fees. I make three, four, $5 a contract, something like that. Not, we don't, no one gets wealthy on when I say break even. It's just a no risk trade. So after, before I logged on here, I am now being aggressive on this 1 minute cross. I got in short at 70. Let me look at my things. So I'm in at 71.51. So this could go. Here was my thesis, and I usually have the thesis on the screen. I'll just give it to you verbally, and then I'll write up there. My thesis was we would fill the gap for the most part, which is 71.64, which is New York's close. We came up 71.59. To me, I thought that was close enough. I'm seeing some curvature on the 5. And then on this cross here, so let me set this. So we're in at, so we're short at 71.51.75. That's where we're short. So that's where we're short right now. There's a lot of volatility right now in the market, and who knows what is going to happen with Trump and all the news. Last night, I've never been more certain of a gap down in my life as I was yesterday. I even sent a video out prior to the market. I sent it out a couple hours before, stating that I was certain it's going to drop. I'm not a genius, you guys. Everything negative. We had tapped the ship. We took one of the tankers. We shot it at them. They're posturing. Iran's posturing, saying everything negative. So I think we could. I think we could retrace. Um, hey, what's up? Hey, Blaine. Yeah, I couldn't. Yesterday, that drop was like 1,000,000% sure. So I think we're going to retrace. I don't think we're going to come all the way back to. I don't think we're going to come all the way back to this low. And I got it marked out here, the 70.84. But I do think we're gonna. I think we're gonna retrace for me and you and anyone that's gonna go short. I think short is the play now. There is so much uncertainty. I'm got my squawk box on. Well, let's see. Oh, we got a new Trump from Donald since I went to go get coffee. All right. Israel didn't talk me into the war with Iran. As I told out of my lifelong opinion, Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. So he's defending. There's a lot of people that think that Israel, forced us into this war, which, yeah, it's great. Trump saying this is all new stuff that 1018 I wasn't, this is 2 minutes ago. Iran got a prosperous future with new leaders. Results in Iran will be amazed. This is, he does this every time. So he sees uncertainty in the market. He'll talk stuff, and the market is so starving for anything positive. So he holds on to that. Vance is not left for Pakistan yet. These are independent. So results in Iran will be amazing. If that could be any more vague, then no one on the planet knows what that means. So Trump will discuss nuclear weapons with Iran in discussions. When asked, is he doing talks? I don't know. Iran's supposed to be at talks. Trump tells PBS News that lots of bombs start going off if Iran ceasefire expires. Yeah, I don't know how we can say any of this is going to be good or positive for the market going up. Now, it wouldn't be the first time that I'm wrong. It certainly won't be the last time. But I think, we got some in the bank this morning a little bit. Nothing. For my strategy, as I've shared with you, this is a trending strategy. So this kind of wishy-washy stuff. Now, if I would have stayed in this long from earlier, if I wasn't leaving, I had some kind of certainty, I would have been good. But yeah, insider trading at its finest, trying to keep the market up with scotch tape. Yeah, duct tape, scotch tape, baling wire, anything they can. It's the shenanigans. And now we're talking about the S&P 500 that reacts to, to a guy tweeting. It's just unbelievable to me. So I shouldn't be shocked, but it is what it is. This is the way the world works. So these are tough markets for my particular strategy. So really, I've got to be, and you should be cautious. Is if it goes against you, cut it. If it's going your way, ride it. And one of my best days ever was, one of my best, pure dollar trading days ever was when the 5-minute was running in this it was running in a 20-point spread both ways. Just predictable as I've ever seen. And I was going at the top, getting 10, 12, 15, go the other way, 10, 12, 15. And I probably made 10 trades in one day or 12. I'd have to look back at my journal, but I made more money that day than doing anything I had done, I probably chopped 100 plus points, 150 points or something out of the market, but who knows? So the market's gone. This is positive news from Trump. Let me launch my voice news guy so he can tell me what's going on, because somehow he wasn't streaming, because he would have told me about Donald Trump's tweet. Yeah, insider trade. That's the understatement of understatements. This, over the weekend, I have not seen one since Friday. Everything was puppy dogs and rainbows, and everyone was getting along, kumbaya, peace. The strait is open. Iran conceded on every single thing they could have. All we do is win, win, win. Market goes, crazy. And then not less than 24 hours later, Iran says the strait is closed. We're in control. IRGC controls everything. You suck. I think they called us pirates, I read somewhere. And it's all going to heck in a handbasket. So, but here we are. Um, trading the hardest, easiest money in the world you'll ever encounter, right? This is why over the years that I just trade what I see, and then having the news is helpful. I mean, obviously he comes in and tweets something. If we attack someone or they attack us, or peace deal's been reached or something, and I'm short, I can get out with limited damage, or I can move my TPs if it's going to dump and try to catch a bigger move. So there's obviously benefits in this, but there is just so much uncertainty today with what's going to happen that my brain tells me there's no way this can be getting back. We're 33 points off all-time highs. The 71.88 was the high, I think, somewhere in that range. Yeah, I think like somewhere in that range. Yeah, 71.88. So let me clear up the screen a little bit. Let's do a little let's go to one screen. All right, so yeah, I'm going to the daily here real quick. So we have the high 71.88. All of this garbage going on, and talk about that the market doesn't want to go down, is we're 33 points off the all-time high.
From Saudi Arabia's Yanbu report fell 17% to about 3.5 million barrels per day in the week ending April 13th, according to shipping data.
So oil coming out of Saudi Arabia is down. So this is unimaginable to me that we're not dropping down, at least have some kind of significant retrace. Let's go to the hourly. Yeah. So the hourly, the first hour at 9 was positive. Blaine says, as a swing trader, everything is wherever sold, and we're going into earnings sweep. That by itself should be enough to start going down. And with this going on, it can only go down. Yeah, we have earnings coming in tomorrow. Not really nothing significant today. I was looking at earnings. You got significant earnings. I think Tesla's on Tuesday or Wednesday. That's going to be a big one. That's going to affect things. And I'm not really an earnings trader, but the that impacts everything. So the 15-minute, you can see this was this big dump here yesterday, and to be honest with you, I thought this would be 100+ point dump, but when this came down and Tokyo came online.
Command says since the commencement of the blockade against ships entering or exiting Iranian ports and coastal areas, U.S. forces have directed 27 vessels to turn around or return to an Iranian port.
Okay, so 27 vessels been turned around. So just to let everyone know, I like to be transparent. I am short 71.51. I am actually on the day, I'm already plus 10 points. On a pre-market long, and I was away from the computer, so I took that. So I'm already, that's kind of deceiving. I was in at, let me look at here. I gotta look at my broker. I was in at, let me look at this. I was in at 71.32, and I got, I'll put that as a separate trade. This short is current. So pre-market, long 71.32, took 10 points with I just set a profit target since I was away from the computer. We're plus 10. And short, and this is my current trade. I'll leave that up there. And then I know people like to see, so you can see I like to be transparent. So we're in at 71.51.75. So that's our short. And if we go 20 points there, ten points there. Okay. So that's our current trade. I like to be 100%. Oh, looks like it's wanting to go into our favor here. Because I think we're going to be going sideways, I put one contract just at 10 points, which is fine. I got another one at 20. I don't think we're going to retrace this whole thing. I don't think it's going to get ugly. I think we're going to be doing this whipsawing, you know, I think we're going to be doing this whipsawing thing back and forth. Let's go back to the 15-minute. Okay. So here on the 5-minute, it's still going to take some time. But you see on my 1-minute, we got in this trade based on the 1-minute. And again, this is aggressive. This 1-minute can be really, really deceptive. Right now we're in profits, so it's looked like it's working good. But the 5 moves slower. But things I really like about this, given my strategy, I like the 5 curling over. Or the 9 curling over. I like the angle of that. Excuse me. And I like that we're going to push down here. I think there's a good opportunity for this to work out and for us to make some wins. You're not going to get like the 100-point move today, I don't think. There comes a point where, looking at this daily, there comes a point where, and I think I stated this, from the 63.50 to the high is 880 points. So the S&P was down, I think, around 8% or something. Then it rips 10-12%.
President Sheinbaum says Mexico is interested in reaching agreement prior to USMCA review on steel, aluminium, and autos. Speaking of USTR's Korea visit on Monday.
All right, so I was just listening to my financial juice dude. Nothing. He was talking about Mexico wanting to reach a deal. So it looks like, anyway, so there has to be a point where this is going to pull back. And not just because this many green days in a row, but given the economic environment and given the news, we're completely at war and the strait is blocked and there's no agreement. How in the world are we going to rip back to all-time highs, which was completely manipulated as well? It's unbelievable to me. It's unimaginable. I don't have enough of the strong vocabulary to dictate, but there is. Now Trump could tweet something and this thing could rip, 80 points north. It's just, there's going to be a point where market is getting exhausted with this manipulation. He's doing it all week where the market goes up, it goes up, everything's good, everything's good, everything's good. And then the weekend comes and there's nothing but bad news. So there's anyway, that's my 2 cents. I don't know, just yeah. But yeah, I think my play is my short play here is good. You see, if we see this 5-minute cross on the 9 EMA crossing the 20, today I'm going to be calculated, and I don't think there's going to be huge swings. If I take 10 here and 20 there and 10 here, I have no problem just kind of working it. But right now, I've got one contract.
According to Traffico, about 3% of global aluminium supply has been disrupted by the war.
So current trade. So we got TP, one contract. What am I at? 7140-ish. And I got the TP2, 7030. So we're only a few points away from TP1. Now it's going to push back up. This is what I'm fearful of, that we're just going to get this whipsawing, back and forth. But let's see. Again, nothing spectacular should be driving us back to 7188 today. Nobody's meeting. We haven't even come to the table for negotiation. Trump tweeted how great Iran could be, which is just, oh my goodness. Let me look at this again. This kind of, Iran could have prosperous future with new leaders. Agreed. Trump results in Iran will be amazing. What is the context of that? If we get new leaders that, oh my goodness. All right. I'm kicking myself in the butt of trying to understand what in the world. All right. This is why I trade what I see. I don't trade what I think. And boy, I have traded what I think in the past. And that's not worked out well for me. I've gone where, okay, this has to be negative or this has to be positive. And then the market just punches me in the eye. But I didn't have the resources or the awareness to just have a system and a process that I trade. Now I do. I trade what I see. I don't trade what I feel. Now I always have a bias, and I didn't put my bias on here today, but my bias was short even before the market, because Asia and London bidding this thing, holding it from that low and bidding it up a little bit, that didn't make any sense to me. But Asia and London have stayed out of the way they've stayed out of the way of this complete run up. Let's go to the data real quick. So each day when we rip it up, they're just kind of basing sideways. We rip it up, they base it sideways. They don't rip it back down. During these markets, we would rip it up, or we would tear it down. New York would tear it down, and then they would build it up. New York would tear it down and they would build it up. So this was, it's been different that Asia and London just stayed out of the fight now. They're just kind of going, okay, you guys rip it up. Must be something going on there. And they've just stayed out of the way and let us, kind of let New York kind of lead the way, which is interesting to me. But so I can put here, I verbally, obviously my bearish is short-term bearish, is bearish. And let me put that short-term. It's coming in our favor. We're 3 points away from hitting TP1. So it's a good sign. We're getting the 9 crossing on the 5-minute here. So in this case, using the 1 in hindsight is a good, I'm in at 71.51 because I got in on this cross over here. So I've kind of been wishy-washy through this stuff. But if you look at this is ugly. Trying to get in on the 1 minute is tough. For newer traders, the 5-minute is a better play. I kind of need to get some music or some entertainment. I can't just keep talking, and I'm not the most electrifying. Okay, all right, TP1 hit. All right, so so this one's hit. TP1 is hit. And now we got another target set at 70.30, TP2. Now, just want to make sure I have the target set, so 70.30. Now, the other thing I also do, I want to make sure everyone is clear when I get into, when I get 10 points into profit, I set any remaining contracts I set to inside to break even in case we get some kind of humongous scary wick. But today I'm not doing that. I'm just leaving my stop set up here at 71.61 because I think even if we get some kind of shady candle, I'm willing to take the risk of, I'm willing to take a little risk that stops me at 10 points here because I think there could be a shenanigan, but we're not going to rip up to all-time highs today. There is no good catalyst. Now, if I see this thing moving, aggressively different, then we'll see. But I don't know if we're going to get 20 points, but it's reasonable. So 8:40 this morning. Was where we were at there. So yeah, I think it's okay. Not super exciting, but it's nice when it's going slow and it's going in your direction and you get it right. And for those of you who knew, the New York does not normally move this slow. But there is, I'm looking at volume right now on my brokerage screen. It's not high, but super high volume today. So. But again, I still think we're in the right. I think we're in the right direction here. So again, quick review. I had one trade earlier this morning, took quick 10 points. We're currently in a short from 71.51, and we had a TP of 71.40. That's already been hit. Our next TP is set at 70.30. And you can, I've got multiple brokers, but the Ninja Trader, you can hear when my contracts fill. So I think if you were listening earlier, that one already, we hit that TP1. What I don't want to see this thing. I want to see it kind of on the 1 minute here. And the 1 minute is not as predictable for this strategy as, but I still would like to see a rejection off the 1 minute 20. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Come back in here. This is very quiet news day here, because when Financial Juice is talking about Mexico, U.S. CENTCOM, since start of blockade, U.S. forces have directed 27 vessels to turn around and return to Iranian port. Crude oil holdings from Saudi Arabia has declined 70%, about 3.5. Okay, that's. U.S.-Iran talks are planned for Wednesday in Pakistan. Okay, that'll be deemed as good news. And then everything else we already reviewed. Trump putting on Truth Social that Iran did not talk him into the war. And nothing new on the news front. Up here at the top, senior Iranian official, positive efforts are underway by Pakistan to end the U.S. blockade, ensure Iran's participation in the talks. I wonder where that's going to go. I'm not sure. That's pushing up pretty hard, guys. No news there, is there? Let's see if we get a rejection off that 20. This might be a good time for me to add to the short, I think. Okay, add another contract to the short. So we took one off, we added one back. So if you weren't in the trade and you're short bias, which I am, this retrace right here would have been a good time for you to get back in. Oh my goodness, and now it's dropping like a rock.
Trump says it's highly unlikely that he extends the ceasefire with Iran.
Oh.
The ceasefire expires Wednesday evening Washington time, and says Vance will leave for Pakistan later today.
Wow.
Again, Trump saying that it's highly unlikely that he extends the ceasefire with Iran. Strength in WTI crude, weakness in the S&P 500 here as well. Again, just to repeat this, Trump says a meeting with Iran can work well for all parties, but it's unlikely that he extends the ceasefire with Iran.
Beautiful. That's good news for our short. So it took me out at 1, guys, but now it's retracing right back up. But I'm still in. I got one contract in left. So that ripped us down. Look at that thing. It took me out at the second TP hit, but this is negative news. So we're going to stay right in this thing. So let me put this down here at the bottom. So we got
extending gains of Trump says the
TP3
is unlikely. Again, for any users aware, text is slow at the moment due to site traffic, but if you're listening, again, the move in the market here is coming from Trump. As he says, it's highly unlikely that he extends the ceasefire with Iran.
Okay, so we got, I got the, I think we can retrace back to here. Let me go, I'm going to put my, where are we at? 71.36. So we got,
Source Familiar says that US VP Vance is still in the US and has not departed for Pakistan yet.
all right, so strategy-wise, guys, boy, my timing could not have been better. On this retrace to the 9, I added another contract back. Came down, I got my 20 points on, so you can see TP1 hit 71.40, TP2 hit at 71.30, and now we have so this low, what's the low wick on this candle? This is 71.25. Do we retrace that? I'm gonna go. We'll set this at 71.25. This is the kind of the fun part. Once you get into profit, now you just kind of manage your trades when they're going in your favor. But none of that was good news Let's see. Oh, yeah, here we go. Trump ceasefire expires Wednesday evening. Highly unlikely that I'll extend ceasefire. Okay, all bad news, which is good for a short. You know, real quick, just to share with you, seeing a wild
from Trump came from a phone interview today that was just released on the main wires. Again, just to repeat the main points there. Trump in this to say that it's highly unlikely that he'll extend the ceasefire with Iran, but will not open the Strait of Hormuz until a deal is signed, and that ceasefire expires on Wednesday evening in Washington time, and advances leaving for Pakistan today.
So I was gonna share is that
European bonds dropping as well after the Trump comment there.
can you imagine back in the day when the stock market, when the traders would be on the floor of the Chicago Mercantile, and like the amount of inside trader news that could happen there? Now, yeah, hey, thanks, Wayne. Yeah, nice call. Yeah, and again, just trading the system, Wayne. So on this when this green candle retraced here, based on my system, uh, the 20 is a retrace, and if my bias is short and all the signals are telling me, then I go short. So I added, which is perfect. And then this candle here, but being on the wrong side of those candles, boy, do those hurt. And every trader in the world has been on the wrong side. That's why I really, when I get up 10 points, I will set my stops to break even, so I don't get a winning trade turn, into because there's been 30-point candles on the 1 minutes, but I mean, this is nothing on this is good news. But going back to having, retail traders now, we have access. Now we don't have access to Trump telling all of his buddies, "Hey, here's what I'm going to say: go short oil or go long on oil or do." We don't have. Boy, that would be nice if I was friends with the Trumps, so we could have gone. He could have told me, "Hey, I'm going to make this interview right now at 10:55 that I don't think the ceasefire is going to work." Then I could have put my whole account short, like all of his buddies do. That'd be nice, but again, just I trade what I see now. That's the strength. Is I just trade what I see. Trade what's in front of me. That candle on that announcement wasn't gigantic, but let's see, this is a 24-point candle. I mean, and I think we're going to retrace it all. That's why I said I've got my next TP is at 71.25. $71.25. What do I have set at? Yeah, 71.25, 75. Anyway, that's all right. Close enough. That's a pretty hard push up, but see if we get a little rejection off VWAP there. I know there's a lot of traders that really use this VWAP. I use it just as a confluence. I don't use it. Typically, if we're above prices above VWAP, I like to be long. But at some point when this has been going up through Asia and London and the VWAP, we've been trading above the VWAP. I was long here, but on this cross, it's VWAP's not going to be there dump immediately. So you got to just use it as a confluence. It's not the be all end all to me. That's not how I use it anyway. So I just keep it. I try to keep it simple as I can. So yeah, I think it's so far pretty good trading Monday. Are you in any trades, Blaine? I don't know if you're still here or not, but yeah, I think that I will trade reversals once in a market. But here's the thing: what I do is I take this strategy for longer swings. I don't swing trade anymore because I've been hurt so bad on swings, and then I work so long, and then some kind of, I'm not going to say a black swan, but a black and blue swan event, some kind of announcement or something happens, and then I'll have days of profit that just get punched in the nose. And it just, to me, that's why I really intraday trade and short-term trade. It just works better for my personality as well. And I think that you got to trade to your personality. I can make decisions fast, and that's always worked out for me. So my ability to click the button. Nothing wrong with swing trading. I mean, you can make much bigger moves in swing trading, but it's just not my personality. And I can do it on shorter time frames when we're trading in a range. So the I wasn't even watching my TP hit. So all right, so I'm completely out. So we've hit. So we're all green. I should have left it in the move, but that's all right. I have no problem taking. So we're all green today so far. But yeah, going back to your, there are so many ways. To me, I like everyone goes, this is the way, this is the way. To me, this is the way for me, and this is a way for a simple, process. The reason I set my stop there because I thought we might come back down here and punch this and come back up. Not that I'm not trading a levels here, even though I do look at the levels every day pre-market. And if you've seen any of my videos, I will always I put the levels and the ranges, because those are important. Yeah, if you're able to swing and stay in for the last 2 weeks, you made $1 bajillion, right? I mean, it's just, but who in the world after the market? Let's look at the daily. So you look at the daily here, look at from January, the January high, right? Where we at? Yeah, so January, we're at 7046, something like that. From January to this bleed all the way down to March. I mean, if you were swinging short, then you made a ton, right? If you were swinging short, let's look at that real quick.
France's President Macron said a French vessel wasn't deliberately targeted in Hormuz.
So if you were deliberately short from January, I mean, you look at 700, let's say whatever, 600 and some points. If you're, but I mean, you got to have a crystal ball or be in Trump's circle to know, what's going to happen here. So if you're long, 800 points. But man, swing trading this is tough. You got to have some huge ranges on your stops, and I don't have the stomach for that. That's just my 2 cents. I don't have the stomach for. Oh, look at this, man. This thing's going to keep going south on me. All right. I don't like to be whiny in this, but so I don't. So my bias is here.
The stocks extending their bull. Nasdaq now down at 1%.
So we got out 71.25. I don't think this is real strong support here. Let's look at the hourly and see what we got for support lines here. Let me move this stuff out of the way. Could we get back to this Asia low, 70.84? Absolutely.
Just note, we're seeing contradictory reports on the France's President Macron headline. One wire saying that the vessel was not deliberately targeted, one saying that it was specifically targeted.
So 70.84. Let's mark that on the 5-minute here. That's going to be all the. So 70.84 is not far away. So we're only talking about what, 40 points from here? That absolutely. But let's see if this thing wants to act as. The 71.21 range. But yeah, going back to your point about my point is, trading to your personality is, that was also one of my biggest findings, is that trading to my personality has been one of the biggest things that has really helped me be successful. So everyone's got to find that out for themselves. And swing trading, if this wasn't my primary, focus, I would try swing trading. But I mean, you got your 401ks and that kind of stuff where you just, over the long haul, you want that to go in your direction. So as of now, I'm not in any trades. So the short, the pre-market long worked out, the short worked out, and it is 11:10. So hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes in the market. We've made some pretty good gains. So now how I roll. I protect those with all of my might. and I don't give. It doesn't mean I won't take risk, but we're up. We made some good gains, as we don't want to give it those back. So I used to have a big issue where I got to be in a trade too, and patience with this system is really extremely important for my process. So one other, I'll share with, since I got time, and if you want to. So one other strategy that I do use a reversal strategy. Now I will base that. Let's see what you just said here. Most stocks are overextended. You don't want to get it now. You have this whole oil. Yeah. So you're nothing really swing. Yeah. So you're right. But one thing I'll tell you, let me put up two screens here. I'll share with you what I will do when I get up with some money here. Let's go. This is the 1 minute here. So what I will do, we got the 5 minute on the left and the 1 minute on the right. Oh, let me get rid of this, because that trades over in 1 minute. So what I will do for a reversal strategy, but the reversal strategy usually coincides with my 920 strategy. And let me explain that a little bit. So you really could call it the 920 cross strategy with a reversal strategy. So look at this thing just reject off the 20 on the 1 minute. I mean, really might be another short opportunity if we get back to VWAP and the 9 right here at 71.35. It probably, my bias is still short. But what I've done in the past on a reversal strategy, now nothing is telling me get in here. Let's just say this line I called here is a real strong level, which it's not. But let's just say I marked that out just so we can see if we're going to get bounces off that, and we did. But on the 5 minute chart, if I see a really strong wick on the bottom with a larger body going up, this is kind of doji-ish to me. There's indecision here. But if I see this, and then you see this coming, and the 9 is crossing the 1, that kind of gives me two confluences that, we could take a flyer on this because it could retrace a whole move. Now, I don't think we have any indication of good news of anything but still remaining short. I'm just giving you a theory of if there is decent news or if there is no news, and we think there's going to be, we've got a strong level that's going to act as a liquidity zone. I'll use kind of those to go long. So it really still is an EMA cross strategy, but I really use the 5 minute, this 5 minute candle. If you get a big wick and on the bottom you get a big hammer candle, and then you get the 1 minute is 9 EMAs crossing the 20, then I would say there's an opportunity to go long here. But there's nothing telling me. Let's look at our financial juice guy. Nothing is saying that for us to go long. There's nothing in the world.
Was that U.S. Vice President Vance could now be leaving the White House to go to Pakistan for talks. Again, we heard from Trump that he's going to be leaving later today, so we'll wait to see if that happens. The Fed bids for 3-month bills totaling $6.4 billion and 6-month bills totaling $5.5. Al Arabiya are citing an Indian source that 10 Indian ships have safely crossed the Strait of Hormuz following coordination with Iran.
So let's go back here. So just a quick recap is system worked perfectly today. So 5 minute chart, we were trending up. We caught a run up. I left some money on the table because I wasn't here, but that's again, I have no remorse. So we took 10 points early with a long, and then we crossed it. We used the 1 minute entry, and we got it at 71.51, and we had the two contracts on this, and we took one contract at 10 points, 71.40, 11 points, somewhere in that range. And then on this retrace, because I follow the rules and the system is the system, I'll retrace to the 9 and the 20. I took another contract short, and then that one took 20 points out. So I'm still in one contract, and then I set another TP at 71.25. So you can see all three TPs were hit: 71.40, 71.30, and 71.25. Those were all hit. As I'm sharing right now at 11:18 a.m., you've got, I marked this as just kind of a level here from Monday, which is, it's not a super strong level, but it looks like we got bounced right off of that. Do we go, is there going to be an indication for long? It looks like the one is going to cross. You could be aggressive here on a retrace, but man, there's no good news. It's telling me that this is going to stick. This is a fairly good base on the 1 minute. But we banked quite a bit of profit here. So yeah, Blaine, to answer your question, yeah, if I was a beginner, I would really just stay with the 5 minute on your decision making, because when you go to this 1 minute, even though this 1 minute really would have worked. So if you're looking at, if you got in here at 71.51 like I did here on the 1 minute, it worked out perfectly. Do they all do that? No, they don't. Let's even look at the 1 minute. Let's go back here. I mean, look at this section here. This is just, you'd have been chopped to pieces here. And when I've gotten in trouble sometimes, it is using the 1 minute. But
official says the US will host a second round of ambassador-level talks between Israel and Lebanon on Thursday at the Department of the State. This is just confirmation again from an Axios reporter this time. I heard this multiple times this morning.
Okay, so let's use this as an example. Right now we're live. Let's just say this retrace, let's say we're going to go long. We want to do this. So, but here's the beautiful thing about the 1 minute you can do for your risk standpoint.
On now at the bottom of the hour, we get the Bank of Canada's Business Outlook survey.
The amount of risk.
So we get some US auctions. The US selling $89 billion in 3-month bills with a prior high yield of 3.62% and a private cover of 2.77. The US is also selling $77 billion in 6-month bills with a prior high yield of 2.8.
Voice
Let me-
news disconnected.
Let me turn them up just for a second. But let's just say we want to use this current 1 minute chart as the amount of risk or the limited risk that you have in the 1 minute is also if you do it, but this is where you're going to have multiple trades. You're going to have chops, you're going to have small losses, and then let's just say we go in here right there. We would have gone in at 71.27, right? 71.28.50, whatever. The beautiful part is you put this, you can have a 3-point stop. And then you put your risk at, 10, that's 3 to 1. Let's put it at 12, 4 to 1. If I would have gone in there, we would already we'd be near TP right now. So that's why I said when I'm up, I'll use the 1 minute. And if you use the 1 minute, you could already be, you went in at what, 71.28, and you're right now at 71.32. If you wanted to be super, super scary conservative, you could move your stop to break even right now because you're up 4 points. Now, I wouldn't recommend that, but I mean, if you have a small account and you just want to start chopping away and build it, you absolutely can do that. We got a little rejection on VWAP, but I was going to get in and I should have, right? Based on this 1 minute. But your risk is so small. I mean, you could have set this thing to 2. If it pierced below the 20, I mean, 2 points is nothing. If you're risking a micro, that's what? 1 point, what I think is what? $5, $10, 2 points, $10. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah. So, I mean, you can use the 1 minute. And I use the 1 minute in this kind of market. And when I get up, and I think whether you're up or down matters. I know people say you shouldn't, but I mean, that's not human reality, is that if I'm up or down matters. So the beautiful thing about the 1 minute is your risk can be tiny and then your reward can be huge, right? If you're risking 2 and you're taking 12, that's a 6 to 1. And if you're at 71.28 here, you're already up 10 points. You could have clipped off 10 and be, made $50 if you're risking 1 mini. So this is a good strategy for that. And I hope that makes sense. Pretty long-winded answer to your question is beginners using only 5 minutes. Yeah, yes and no. All right, it is 11:24. I gotta run. I've got some money in the bank here, so I've got to go around. I've got some other appointments and calls I gotta make. But thanks for joining me today. Let's do a quick recap of today. So today, profitable day. My bias short term was bearish because I believe there's nothing good happening. We took a small short for 10 points, or small long pre-market, made 10 points. And then we got in on the 1 minute cross at 71.51. And we rode down, we hit 3 TPs. So we hit 10 points at 71.40, 71.30, and 71.25. So we're all green today. And this would have been a nice entry on the 1 minute, but I was not fast enough and I don't want to chase it. But this would have been a nice, looking at the 1 minute cross here, this would have been a nice entry at 71.28. And you could have been up 10 points. Nothing to write home about, but nothing to sneeze at either, depending upon what you're trading. So, all right, take care. Have a good day.